Hello my sewing friends, these are my April makes. I'm Jen and this is not my sewing room. It is my back porch where I love to come out and just sit, enjoy a cup of coffee. I live now in Florida instead of the Midwest, and so I try and rave at least twice as much about living here as I did complain and whine when I was living in the Midwest where it was cold. So I love it here and I come out here as often as I can, and so I thought I'd do that and tell you about my April makes. These are not just from April, some are from March and earlier. One is from last year, except that I took it and kind of revamped it. So I'll tell you about that one first. That is Butterick 4790. It is the latest reissue of the 1952 Walkaway dress. I made this dress with my daughter as a first sewing project, my youngest daughter, and I loved how it looked on her. She was adorable in it. And I liked it so much that I bought it in my size, which was much bigger than her, and I decided to make it. So I used quilting cotton from my stash and I made it reversible. Ha! Genius idea, right? Not in quilting cotton, because the thing was so heavy I could hardly walk around. So I did that last year, and then in March I decided, you know what, that means I have two dresses, not just one. So I went ahead and took it apart and used bias binding to go all the way around the dress, which is what you're supposed to do anyway. And now I have two very pretty dresses. I did change a few things. In the front, it calls for buttons or a hook and loop closure, something like that. And I thought, no, I wasn't gonna mess around with that because we had too much trouble doing it when I did it with my daughter. So I just cut sashes and I made them tie in the front, which worked out beautifully because it makes it fit me really nicely and gives me some ease in the waistline. The other thing I changed was I put some ties in where normal bust darts would have gone because I didn't like the way it was wrapping and coming down so low under the arm. So putting those ties in makes it tie at the bust line in the back and then also at the waistline in the back, because it's essentially half of a sheath dress in the front and a circle skirt dress in the back. So you pull it around and tie it. So that made it fit a lot better. And the only other thing I have to say about this is that the neckline comes up kind of high, and it's because the weight of the dress in the back tends to want to pull it up. But that's not a big deal. And I love this pattern. I love this dress. I feel so, I don't know, it's just so cute. And I've gotten so many compliments on it probably because of the big circle skirt, because, you know, who doesn't love a big circle skirt? So that's Butterick 4790. McCall's 6696 is a dress that I did make last year, and I love it so much. I wanted to tell you about it. I made two versions. One was a muslin and to get the fit right, and then the other one was fabric I wanted to use and not mess up, which was kind of funny. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But the muslin I made View B, and it just turned out beautifully. It's easy to alter in terms of making the waistline bigger or smaller, adjusting the darts, the bust line darts. The only thing I found about the muslin that I didn't like was that in the back there is a yoke on the back bodice, and then the bottom of the back bodice gathers into the waistband of the skirt, and it really is a lot of fullness, and it bloused out a little too much for me. So I changed that when I did the other version. Now the other version was this print that I don't even know where I got, but it's such a cool print. It's a cotton, just like a quilting cotton, like a broadcloth, and it is a Havana print, and I didn't realize it's a one-way print. So I went to all this trouble to get it to fit, and then I cut out the one from the Havana print and I cut half of it upside down. I couldn't believe I did that. Oh my gosh, I was ready to shoot myself. So I found 1 yard of it, the last yard of this fabric in the known universe. And I was able to cut enough of it using the upside down pieces and the extra yard to be able to do this dress, and I'm so glad I was able to, because in the back bodice where I had the trouble with the blousing, I pleated it and pulled some of that fullness out, and that made a huge difference. I did make View B again, but I put the belt loops on, and I had this little belt. I'd had it forever and I never worn it, and so it's perfect with that dress. I love the pockets. I love the fit of the dress. I love how it feels a little more tailored. I really love this dress. So I will probably make it again in the sleeveless version. And yeah, so that's McCall's 6696, which, by the way, if you check Instagram or pattern review for this pattern, it's very popular and it does not ever look bad on anybody. It fits and looks gorgeous on any body shape, any body type. I don't know how they did it, but it's a gorgeous dress. New Look 6340 is a little kind of a shift sundress kind of a thing. I made View D with the V neckline with no sleeves. I made this out of a quilting cotton that I had, and it's a cute little dress. Cute little pockets, pleated pockets at the top, nice little detail there. My issue with this dress was that it had ties that tied in the back at the side seams, and these were kind of positioned between the bust line and the waistline, and I just didn't like where they hit on me. When I tied them, it looked horrible. It looked like I was wearing a feed sack. So I decided to put fisheye darts in the back, and then I enclosed the ties in the fisheye darts. So I do have a tie in the back, but it's a much more narrow tie, and the fisheye darts ended up giving the dress more shape. Now it does come a little low in the front, but that's not a big deal for me because it doesn't come quite too low. And if I were gonna make it again, I would definitely use those fisheye darts for the shaping, definitely. So that was New Look 6340. New Look 6602 is a pattern that I've had forever, and I thought it was out of print, but it is still in print. So I made View A, little short dress with sleeves, adorable. I thought this called for a knit. It does not. It calls for a woven. Fortunately, I used a poly cotton interlock knit that I had in my stash, and that is a stable enough knit to lend itself to this dress. So I was really happy about that. I did make a couple of changes. One was that I lined the sleeves because I didn't want to mess around with like a narrow hem, and I didn't want that knit to pull out of shape and stretch out of shape with the stitching. So I went ahead and lined them with some tricot lining that I had. And then the pockets. Now here's where I have to pause for a moment and rave about VivMom. If you are not watching VivMom on YouTube and you are a sewer, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? I'm not kidding. She is fantastic. I love her so much. I wish she lived down the street from me so I could talk sewing with her all the time. I love watching her, and seriously, you need to check her out if you don't already know about her, and if you are not already subscribed to her, then you need to do that. So she was talking one day about the confusing instructions on a pocket that was, it had a facing. It was a lined pocket, patch pocket. And as she talked about it, I began to think, huh? And then I began to understand what was going on with these instructions. And I really liked the technique that they used. So I used it on this dress. And essentially, you line the pocket, but the pocket lining piece is shorter than the pocket piece, so that when you use it and you sew it all the way around, turn it right sides out, so that then you can top stitch it onto your dress, what ends up happening is the hem of the top of the pocket pulls down and folds over, which is perfect. It's like it's all done for you. So I love this little dress. No changes to it at all. It's easy to wear. I love it. Worked out perfectly. And that is New Look 6602. New Look 6346 is a vintage pattern from 1995 that I had in my stash. And I had some poly rayon, almost like a peach skin. that I thought was going to be perfect for this dress. This dress is very elegant, and I made View B, and this is the kind of wrap dress that I can get on board with because it's essentially a sheath dress with the wrap over top of the front. And I went ahead and made it thinking it was going to be so sleek, so elegant. And I think it needs a fabric with texture. I think this is what I have figured out. So next time, if I make it again, which I might because it fits like a dream, I will use some fabric with some texture. I think maybe a linen would be beautiful in this. I do think that the fabric that I would use would need to have some body. So good to keep in mind for this pattern if you ever run across it. It does make up beautifully. I did make the shortened version with the wrap rather than just the sheath without the wrap. And I did make one change in that it calls for a facing to go down on the bodice of the wrap, and then you're supposed to just do a narrow hem on the side of the skirt that goes down and also the hem. And I didn't like that. I thought this fabric was gonna, it just was too pretty to top stitch. So even though I hate doing it, I hand stitched the hem and I made a facing that I basically just extended the facing that goes down the front, all the way down the front edge of the dress, and then I mitered the corner and also did the hem, and then I went back and hand stitched the whole thing. This is true love. So maybe this will work with a statement piece of jewelry. I am disappointed that it didn't come out the way I thought it would, but it still is a beautiful dress. And so that was New Look 6346. Simplicity 8834 was my Easter dress, and this is really cute. I made View C, and I used some, again, same fabric as the other one, as the New Look dress. Like a peach skin, but not really, a poly rayon, and it has a beautiful drape. And this dress is so cute. I wish that the front flounce on the skirt was a little more pronounced, but it kind of gets a little bit lost with the ties, but I love the ties. So yeah, I will take it. I'll take it. The neckline does call for a narrow hem, where I think that next time if I make this dress, I would use a bias binding. And I did make it, and it was a little small on me, so I ended up letting it out in the back with the back darts and also at the side seam as much as I could. Turned out gorgeous. Really, really like this pattern. I thought the ties were going to be a little more complicated than they were. I think maybe for a beginner they might be a little tricky, but overall I think it turned out beautifully and I liked the pattern a lot. And that was Simplicity 8834. Simplicity 8640. What a surprise. I got this pattern for my daughter, daughter number 2. I have 5, so daughter number 2. She likes a lot of unstructured, kind of funky clothes that don't fit very tightly. She's kind of petite, and so I thought this would be really fun on her. Although on the front of the envelope, the way they've styled it, they've done it in a linen, and it looks kind of just baggy, like a big old feed sack. So I thought I need to get on Instagram or Pattern Review or both and see what other people have done with this. And the more I looked, the more I thought, that is so cute. I need this dress. So I made it for myself. And I used a rayon challis that I had in my stash. I made View B, which is the sleeveless tunic, which really is long enough to be a dress. I will say that the pockets on this are what make it so funky because they are really low. And so I put them on and then I took them off and raised them up and made them a little less low. But I love the way this dress is shaped in the front. And back to Viv Mom, she did this in April also. It was part of her April Makes video, which if you haven't seen it, go look at it because it's fantastic. She did it in a color blocked soft linen. Absolutely stunning. So I need 10 more of these dresses. This is my absolute favorite sundress. I want 10 more. So I probably will make it for my daughter number 2. She's coming to see me in June, so I may make it then and give it to her. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm definitely making probably not 10, but definitely more of this dress because it's just such a dream to wear, and it's just beautiful. That is Simplicity 8640. McCall 7627 is a Laura Ashley pattern, and I love Laura Ashley. In the 90s, I was all about Laura Ashley. Everything Laura Ashley. If they had made underwear, I would have found a way to get a hold of it and wear it. It's a UK company, and they just make beautiful things. I have not liked everything they've done since the 90s, but anytime I see Laura Ashley, I have to give the pattern at least a look. Well, I was gonna make the dress view D, and I was gonna use the sleeves from the top, which is view A, but I didn't have enough fabric because this thing takes a bazillion yards of fabric. I was iffy about it because of the wrap. I thought, I don't know how this wrap situation's gonna go because I can never get a wrap anything to go right. It's like it gaps, or it comes down too low, or it comes up too high. You know, I take your pick. I can never seem to get it right. But I thought, okay, I will give this a go. I didn't have enough fabric for the dress, so I made the top, which was view A. I had a couple of problems fitting it with some pleats that are at the shoulder seam and then the facing that comes down. But overall, I think it's a very doable pattern. The sash is what makes this dress, or this top. And if I were gonna do it again, I would do it with a longer peplum. I think a longer peplum would really serve the top really well. I made this out of, okay, fabric is fabric is fabric. I have to preface it with that. A sheet. No kidding. I have all these sheets in my stash to make muslins with. And so I loved the stripe. I loved the periwinkle blue. And so I went ahead and used it. And it worked out great. I was surprised I didn't have enough fabric for the skirt. But yeah. If I were going to make this again, I would make view C, which is the sleeveless dress. The sleeves on this top have a flounce, and it's a circle flounce, and I don't know what kind of witchcraft people are using to get a narrow hem on that kind of a flounce, but it is beyond me. It's like, no, not gonna happen in my lifetime or on my sewing machine, no. So I just lined it. That has been my solution to the narrow hem that has to go around any kind of a flounce, ruffle kind of deal thing. It's a circle. I just cut a lining piece and sew it in a circle and turn it right sides out and leave it at that. So that's what I did there. Honestly, I think I may take the sleeves off this top. I thought it was a fail. I put it on, didn't like it, and then the more I had it on, the more I thought, you know what, maybe this isn't a fail. Maybe this is a success. So I put some snaps down the front, which help a lot with keeping it closed, and I really am seriously thinking I might take the sleeves off because I think it might, I don't know, it just might look better. We'll see. Let me know what you think. Simplicity, oh, that was McCall's 7627. Simplicity 8601 is a little wrap top that I just thought was so cute, and I made it so that I could wear it at a book festival that I went to in March in Phoenix. Perfect for the weather there. I made view B, and I got it done, and I used a seersucker cotton from my stash, and it was a stripe, so it really lent itself to the pattern the way that it's styled on the front of the pattern envelope. So I got it finished, and I looked at those sleeves and thought, ugh, they look terrible on me. They just hit me at the wrong spot. Ugh, didn't like that at all. So I thought, okay, well, what about the sleeves in view D? Well, I didn't have enough for the flounce, but I could cut the sleeves up. So I cut the sleeves at an angle so they came to a point here and then came down and around, and I put some cotton eyelet trim on there, and no, it was worse. I thought, what am I gonna do with these sleeves? So I ended up making some bias binding out of my scraps and putting that on. And although I did not do a very good job of wrapping where that point is, where the slant comes up, you know what? It was good enough, and I wear this top all the time. The only other thing I did was I closed up the opening where the ties are in the front because it came up too high, and that just was showing a little too much skin. If I were gonna make this again, I would probably make it sleeveless. Just take the sleeves completely off, and I would lengthen the ties, because I think this is such a cute top, but it needs longer ties, especially if you're gonna close up that opening. You kind of lose some of the ties. So anyway, that was Simplicity 8601. McCall 7658 is a dream of a top to sew. It's a dream of a top to wear. I feel so elegant in this top. I love it. I wore it on the plane to go to the festival that I went to in March in Phoenix. And it was so nice because you didn't really need a sweater. This flounce across the front and the back just feels like a sweater. I mean, it's a tank top underneath, but oh, beautiful. Now I will say that the way that the instructions tell you to do this, oh, before I tell you that, I made View C, which has some pleats. The instructions tell you to put wrong side to right side and flip it over, sew it around the neckline and then flip it over. And I found that when I did that, there was enough weight going on in this top, in the flounce, that it was pulling that neckline to the outside. And you could see the inside of the fabric, the wrong side of the fabric. I didn't like that. I had used a poly rayon, or poly rayon for this. Didn't like that. And you know, that flounce has a fair amount of weight to it. So what I did was took it off, put wrong side of the flounce to the right side of the top, and then I just made a bias binding and went around, sewed it, and then flipped it to the inside. And now that edge can hold the weight of the flounce and it's not going to pull forward. I love this top so much. If I make it again, I'm going to make View A, which just doesn't have the pleats, but beautiful, just beautiful. It's a beautiful top. I feel great when I wear it, and so I highly recommend that. That's McCall's 7658. Simplicity 8294 is the little dress I made again for that book festival I went to. You know, I thought, I need new clothes. I'm just gonna make them all. So I did. I used quilting cotton from my stash, and this is an absolute darling dress. I love it. I love the pockets. I love the waistline detail with the kind of half belts. I love the collar, the way it comes down in the front. It's kind of like an elongated Peter Pan. And I love the back, the way it dips down. It's the cutest dress. I love the tailored kind of feel that it has because it is pleated. And if I were gonna make this again, which I may do that, I would make View B. And that has a gathered skirt and a cap sleeve. Just an adorable dress. And the pockets really make a huge difference. This is a Gertrude mode pattern. And that was Simplicity 8294. Simplicity 6341 is a vintage pattern from 1965. And I made View 2 in some quilting cotton that I had. I don't know why I have all this quilting cotton in my stash, but I have a bunch of it, like a ton of it. And yeah, I don't know why, because I'm not a quilter, but yeah, I just have a lot of it. So this dress is adorable. It is adorable. I love the dropped waistline. I love the little flippy skirt. It feels just so cute. It's perfect for church or just going around just a normal day. It's absolutely adorable. Now, as per the 1960s, the neckline comes up really high, and man, is that a whopper of a Peter Pan collar. I used a white cotton that I had, and I used a rickrack trim on the inside to give it a little bit of interest. If I were gonna do this again, which I might, I would definitely lower that neckline. I might or might not put the collar on again, but it just turned out so well. I was so pleased. So Simplicity 6341, vintage from 1965. And the last thing I want to tell you about is Simplicity 8426. This is a MimiG pattern. It is her jumpsuit. And I do sew for my 5 daughters, not as much as I did when they were little bitty girls. Maybe that's where I got all that quilting cotton. I would always make them little sundresses, but anyway, okay. I have a daughter who's living with me now, daughter number 3, and she is a willowy wisp of a thing who is a dream to sew for. This This girl is a dream. She's just got that body that just, oh my gosh, we all want that body. So I said, hey, let me make this for you. And she said, okay. And we went shopping in my stash. Microfiber sheet, not even kidding. It's a microfiber sheet. And then I had some black lace, and she said that would really be pretty as an overlay for the waistband and also the yoke. And I said, works for me. So I made view A, and it fits her like a dream. It's a wide leg pant with pockets. The waistband is not really a true waistband. It's more like a belt. The top, the yoke at the top is easy to do. It has a button closure in the back. It was easy to fit for her. I mean, she basically, you know, all I did was sewed it right out of the envelope. No alterations needed, no adjustments. She looks like $1,000,000 in this. And I can't wait to make some more things for her. I have more fabric for her, and she's so easy to sew for. She's such a dream. So that was Simplicity 8426. And that was April and March and up till now, kind of. If you made any of these things, I would love to see them on Instagram or Pattern Review. If you've done any of them and posted them there, I would love to see them. I've tried to do all of these on Pattern Review with photos, so you can find them there as well. And don't forget to check out Viv Mom, because she's fantastic. She's fabulous. I really do wish she lived down the street from me so we could have just chats and talk sewing all the time, drink coffee. It would be fun. And yeah, that's it for now for me. So I will see you in May, probably with some makes videos. I got some patterns recently. I may do a pattern haul, but stay tuned. You never know. So that's it for me for now, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.